It's the most wonderful time of the year. Merry Christmas from all of us at News Radio WGNS. Rutherford Issues with Bryan Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
We are back on Rutherford Issues, and we are powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. From Murfreesboro to Smyrna, across Rutherford County, trees and homes are lit for the holidays. MTE is proud to power every twinkle so neighbors can make memories. Good energy starts with MTE. We've got some good energy in the studio today. Dr. Caitlin Bullard is here, the principal of Discovery School, as we talk about Murfreesboro City Schools. That's our focus once a month here on Mondays on the show. And none better than to talk about Discovery School. Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Good to have you here today. So first of all, when you tell people about Discovery School, there's a uniqueness to
Yes.
Discovery School. So how do you describe the school to folks?
Yeah, so Discovery is definitely unique within the Murfreesboro City School community. It is our academic magnet school. We serve kindergarten through 6th grade, and there's an admissions and testing process. And one of the things that makes it really unique is we are such a tight-knit community. So because we're a magnet school, our students stay with us over the course of their 7 years, usually in elementary school. It makes our family really, really tight-knit. And then we are a STEAM school, a tree-designated campus, a level 5 school. So lots of things that we have to celebrate about Discovery Community.
So what is a tree?
A tree-designated campus, yes. Yeah, you might not have heard of it because we're the only one in Middle Tennessee, but we are actually designated by the National Arbor Day Foundation as a tree-designated campus. We work with partners over at More Trees Borough, as well as our City Parks and Rec Department, and we're working on sustainability and expanding and creating an urban canopy. And so there's a process that the Arbor Day Foundation goes through every year to designate K-12 campuses that are committed to that, and so we are designated through them.
Yeah, and I'm sure an opportunity for the kids to learn with that as well. Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. So Discovery School has really served our community, obviously, very well. Level 5, that you hear about that so much here with Murfreesboro City Schools and Rutherford County Schools. Yeah. It's like it's a given, right. But I think that's a testament to the strong school systems that we do have.
Absolutely. We have incredibly strong public schools here in Rutherford County, Murfreesboro City. But you're right, it is kind of a given almost, and we take it for granted, but it really is a celebration of not only the academic achievement, but the growth that our students show academically year over year.
Yeah. Now, I would assume that many of the students that are at Discovery School may go on to continue their middle school and high school at Central Magnet, I would say.
We do see that very often, yeah, as well as, our other local public schools. Yeah.
Well, being the middle school and high school magnet school, that kind of goes, but, the competition, I would think, you've got McFadden and then Thurman Francis in Smyrna and the Arts Academy. So we really have some wonderful schools here, and Discovery School part of that. And with Christmas coming up, the kids, I'm sure, are just very excited about that too.
They are so excited this week. We've got themes all week and dress-up days. They're all in their pajamas today with their Santa hats on. And we had a little elf pop up this morning. So lots of fun and excitement happening in the schools.
It is just amazing how pajama days are just like the best.
They are the best, absolutely.
So there's still a lot to get in this week and learning and whatnot. But, as the first semester comes to a close, it seems this year, I don't know, maybe it's just the older I get, the days go by quicker. But, man, it flew by.
I agree. And I was saying the same thing recently. It's like every year it goes just a little bit faster. I think it was just the first day of school like last week. But here we are. It's almost Christmas, almost the end of the semester.
Yeah. And so got a couple of weeks for winter break. And then who knows, everyone in January and February looks forward to maybe hearing from Lisa Trail a time or two.
We hope so. I think there were some that were looking forward to hearing from her this morning with those cold temperatures.
Yeah. But that's why we have, good heat and air systems in the schools, right?
That's right. We're warm and toasty inside.
So this is kind of admissions season for Discovery School, and you may be thinking, well, we've got another semester in this school year. So kind of explain why this is admission season for you guys.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to think about, especially if you have a 4-year-old to be applying for their kindergarten year in December. But our applications opened December 1st, and that runs through February 1st. Those are available on our website, and that lines up with admissions season for many of our other, schools that are running kind of that application process. And that allows us to test students in January and February. So every student that applies goes through a testing process on campus, and then into February, beginning of March, those letters go out so that families know how they can prepare for the upcoming school year, so that they know if they've been accepted or waitlisted and can make plans for the upcoming year.
Yeah. So I would think that information comes out after February as to when the testing might be, or do you do testing even before that once sign-ups start?
So our families actually get to sign up as soon as they get confirmation. So they get to choose their date. Testing will start on January 7th. So that'll be kind of the first date, and then they can test all the way through February, and then we'll make those lists after that.
Yeah. Okay. So it happens pretty quickly.
Yes.
So you mentioned thinking about your 4-year-old, doing this. So I'm sure you probably get a million questions from those who've never gone through the admissions process.
Right.
So let's kind of maybe qualm some fears here about what that's like. So let's go from the perspective of maybe mom, dad listening, caregiver that it has a student that will be in kindergarten next year. What is that process like for them?
Yeah, and I can say, first off, I've been on the other side of that. So I have 2 children of my own, both went through the magnet school testing process. So I've been there. I remember those fears very well. But I think, one thing that's important to know is, we are all about making the children comfortable in the setting. So from the very beginning, from testing, we come in, we welcome them, we play games. We've even had children leave the admissions testing process and say, all we did was play Simon Says. It's like, no, we actually did test. But it's so much so trying to make them comfortable, because we know oftentimes 4-year-olds, it's new people, it's a new place, they're shy, they're nervous. And so really we have a lot of fun with them in the process. And then once they come into the building, there are phase-in days that we have if they've been accepted. So those are half days. There's Kinder Camp is a program we run even before the school year starts, and our own kindergarten teachers teach that, and it's kind of a preview for them. So there are so many opportunities for them to become a part of the community and really build relationships with the adults and the other children before the first day of school.
Yeah.
And that's really important to us. And, we're talking about kindergarten, but we also have spots available in the other grade levels as well. So we accept 6 4th graders every year because our ratio goes up, and then other students kind of on a rolling basis as our numbers change. So even if you have a child who's already in school and you've been through that process of starting kindergarten, it can still be a little nerve-wracking to kind of go through this new experience. And we really want to welcome those families into the community as well, just like we do those kindergarten families.
Sure, absolutely. So you bring up another great point. I was picturing in my mind, how do you give a pencil and a test to a 4-year-old and say, here, complete this,
Right. You don't.
So there has to be some type of process for that. And for each grade level, I'm sure it's different the way you interact with those children.
Yes. Yeah. So for those incoming kindergartners, they only test with children their own age. We have more adults in the room. It's a smaller setting. They don't have to read anything. And then as they get older, it's a bigger group. There might be more reading involved, more independence. So it definitely is more age appropriate for each level.
Dr. Caitlin Bullard is here with us, the principal at Discovery School. We're talking about the admissions process, and that is something that's going on right now. So where did they go to actually begin that process?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if they go to our website, discoveryschoolexplorers.net, there is an application section of our website. There's a Q&A on there, frequently asked questions, and then all components of the application are online on our website.
So a very good place to start. So discoveryschoolexplorers.net.
Yes.
Okay. I'll be sure to put a link to that in our podcast. For those of you listening, you've got a place to go back and catch that if you didn't. You mentioned the other grade levels. So I guess the kindergarten class, it kind of rolls over from one year to the next.
Right.
Typically, how many kindergartners do you have?
We take 60 kindergartners every year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that 60 kindergartners may be 58 first graders, or it may be 60 first graders. Do they have to test in each year, or how does that work?
They don't. So they stay with us. We do have a code of conduct and expectations for attendance and things like that. But as long as those things are met, they stay with us year after year without retesting. So that group of 60 kindergartners will move on to first grade, and you'll have 60 first graders. We won't take any new first graders unless a child moves. Sometimes, parents get a job out of state, things like that, and then we would take those. But we do encourage interested families to apply, because you never know. Typically, there's at least 1 or 2 seats in every grade level by the time summer rolls around, and we continue rolling students off the wait list until fall break. So, you may get a call in July that we have a first grade spot open if you've tested for that grade level.
Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of what I was getting to. If you want to test and be on such list, you have to do that between now and February, though.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to apply by February 1st. And sometimes we'll get the question, I know I'm moving to Murfreesboro city limits, but I'm not there yet. That is okay. They can go ahead and apply and test. They'll just have to be able to provide proof of residence before the school year begins. So by the time we have open house, we have to have that proof of residence. But if you know you're moving to Murfreesboro city, go ahead and apply.
Do you know, at what point do you know, hey, we're going to have 3 openings in 4th grade? Do you know that before the end of the previous year, or is it sometimes maybe right at the beginning of the year?
It can change and evolve. We've had situations, like I said, where a parent gets a job in another state, or something happens, a siblings situation changes and parents want to keep siblings together. And so often we know by the end of the school year, pretty set, who our group is going to be. But typically over the summer, I'm calling at least a couple of families and offering them a spot.
Okay. Well, that's I guess encouragement for those who may be thinking, well, let's give it a shot. So the first thing they need to do is get a date and get signed up.
That's right. It certainly can't hurt to apply, even if you're not in one of those grade levels where we know we have seats currently.
Yeah. So they would go through the testing process if let's say it's a 3rd grader, and we have no idea to really know whether there's a spot there. How do you put them in a particular order to know who's the first on the list to call, things like that?
Yeah. So there are 2 components to the testing. There's a cognitive and an academic, and we use those scores to rank all of the students. And so they're ranked in kind of a stay 9, like a bell curve order. And we do have preference for students whose siblings are already attending Discovery School. They go to the top of the stay 9. And so that's what we use to rank them. And if we have, let's say, 3rd grade and we don't have any spots currently available, then everyone would get a waitlist number based on their ranking.
Okay. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Yes.
Is there anything that I haven't asked that is a frequently asked question about this whole process?
I think, one thing that I might want to make sure that I mention, we had a tour in November. We just had a Zoom last week for families that couldn't make it to the tour. But I also want to mention that January 5th at 2:30 p.m., we're going to have another open house in person for those that maybe have missed the first 2 dates. So if you have missed those and you want to see the building, that's a question we get a lot is, I wasn't able to come. Can I see the school? It is an in-service day, so you won't see, students in action, but it's a great time to come walk the halls and meet the teachers.
Okay. Is there a particular place do you need to sign up for that, or is it just
pre-registration is required now?
Okay, very good. And what time would that be on the 7th?
2:30 p.m., 2:30 to 3:30.
Okay, so easy enough if you want to see what the Discovery School is all about. And once again, give us the website where we can find more about the admissions situation there.
That is all at discoveryschoolexplorers.net.
Very good. Well, thanks so much for coming in today. I know everybody, even principals get excited about winter break, right?
That's true. Even principals can count down from time to time. But thank you for having me.
Absolutely. If you want to listen back to the podcast, we will have it up shortly at WGNSradio.com. And then just head to the section where we've got all the shows listed. This is Rutherford Issues. Choose that show, and it'll be the first podcast that you see there. And check out all of our local shows. If you missed them, you can check them out right there at WGNSradio.com/podcast, including our information or our video from yesterday's Murfreesboro Christmas Parade. If you weren't able to head to the parade, you can find it all right there on the website. Have a good day, everybody.